I am always snacking and overeating almost every day. How can I stop this?
For sure. So snacking and overeating, I'm presuming obviously this person's looking for fat loss and they are over consuming their calorie intake, negatively impacting their results and their progress. Generally, snacking and overeating, first of all, comes down to your hunger levels. So I think people will only overeat generally if they are hungry or potentially bored. Snacking gets such a bad rap. So many people say to us, like when we're asking them what their biggest struggle is, I'm constantly snacking. Snacking is fine if it fits in your calories. If you can fit snacks into your calorie intake, then that's absolutely fine. But then the problem comes when you do start kind of overeating and overindulging in foods, and that generally is due to your hunger levels. So instead of looking at like, how can I stop myself from snacking and overeating, look at it like, how can I stop myself from being hungry? And I think the big way to do that is to try and, in my opinion, eat as much food as you possibly can while still getting fat loss results. That's our whole mentality. If you restrict yourself and lower your calories crazy low to like a 50% deficit, you are going to be fucking starving. And then you're going to snack, overeat, binge eat, whatever it might be and whatever you might want to call it. And that is then going to be putting that kind of like, okay, I'm overeating, that's a problem. No, you're hungry. That's the problem.
Negative connotation around eating food.
I can't use big words, but you can. So that's definitely, I think the first thing to look at is, were you actually just snacking for another reason, or was it because you're hungry? Then from there, another kind of couple of tips, I guess, with the hunger levels is try and like work out what time of the day you are overeating or snacking, whether it's the afternoon. I used to work with quite a few school teachers, which is weird. I don't know how, but I used to have heaps of clients who were school teachers, and a lot of them would always snack in the afternoon at like 4 o'clock. And it was because they were hungry because their last meal was lunchtime at like 12:30. So it's been like 4 hours since they'd last ate. They were hungry. They'd end up over-consuming, snacking, whatever you want to call it, which was off their plan. So my strategy that I implemented for all of my school teachers, and actually implemented for every school teacher that I ever worked with after that, because it worked so well, was having a snack that they would have either before they leave to go home. So they'd have it at work, and then literally before they drive home from work after school, they would have that snack, or on the way home, or as soon as they get home. So that snack fits into their day rather than it kind of causing overeating.
Absolutely. I think that the way that I would look at this is overconsumption without merit comes down to a lack of awareness. If you aren't aware of how you're feeling or the emotions that you're experiencing due to X, Y, and Z, for example, it might be stress, it might be anxiety, it might be some certain trigger, and you don't know how to handle it, and you take it out on the pantry, if you take it out on the food, then of course it's going to happen again and again and again. So you need to become aware of it. You need to almost break that chain and use strategies to bring awareness to this. So one strategy that I used to suggest to a lot of my girls that I coached was, when you feel an emotion, and normal tendency would be to snack, binge, overeat, whatever it may be, write it down in a food diary. Like, write down exactly how you're feeling. It can be something like, it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm starting to feel really anxious. What I would normally do here is go eat an entire block of chocolate. But instead, by you writing that down, you say, okay, cool, I'm affirming that I'm anxious. I'm confirming that it's around about the time of the day that I'm probably quite hungry. I've had a dip in my energy levels or anything. So instead of me taking it out in the pantry and not having any control of it, being like an out-of-body experience, I've been able to make myself aware of it and then divert that behavioural response to going for a walk, taking a big glass of water, whatever it may be. So just awareness. Like, awareness is so important when it comes to snacking, because that out-of-body experience is so, so common.
Absolutely, yeah. Awareness and, diverting it to something else is a great idea. Like, I think once you've got that awareness, and if it is then like looking at the time of day that you are snacking, one example that I've got with another client we worked with recently is she would snack in the evenings after dinner, and I kept kind of like seeing that pattern pop up. So her and I sat down, we had a chat, and I said, when is it that you snack? She said, in the evenings after dinner. And I said, are you hungry? She said, no. And she just had dinner, so she wasn't hungry. It wasn't the fact that she was hungry like I was explaining a minute ago. It was because it was just a time of day where she felt like she needed to reach for food, and she was potentially bored as well. So we'd ruled out hunger, we'd created awareness, and then we then implemented a strategy. And the strategy that I implemented with her was every day after dinner, she'd finish her dinner, wait 5 minutes, and then go for a 10 to 15 minute walk. And that was it. 10 to 15 minutes. It wasn't like going for a walk for 2 hours. It was just enough time to be able to ensure that she didn't then reach for the fridge and grab all the ice cream that she could find.
Yep, absolutely. I think that just practical strategies like this is so important. It's really frustrating because strategies and advice that you get online, like, it's so oversaturated, and like the advice that you get is so complex. Like, it's not necessary. Whereas like using strategies like this, it may sound simple, but it works.
Yeah. And like anyone listening, this is such a tangent, but anyone listening to any of our strategies that we give for any of our topics, break them all down into all of the different areas. So for example, there, like with overeating and snacking, we just spoke about incorporating snacks into your day to make sure it fits your calories. Looking at your hunger levels, then looking at eating more frequent meals, adding in like a diversion from the time that you normally snack, creating awareness, writing it down. We gave like 6 strategies there. Write them all down. Try and test and see which works for you, because you don't have to do all of them. The more you do, the probably higher chance that you're going to have of preventing snacking. But the problem with that is you then feel like to prevent yourself from overeating, you have to implement every single one of those 6 or so strategies forever. So like when I see people prescribing like 10 different supplements and people get incredible fat loss results, it's like, yeah, but it was probably only one of those 10 supplements, and now that person feels like they need to have all 10 of those supplements forever to keep getting their results. So break it down and try 1 or 2. If they work, fantastic. You don't have to try the others because you've fucking found a solution. And if they don't work, then you might add a couple more to it, or you might remove those 2 and add a couple to the list of what you're doing. And you'll find a solution eventually. It's just a trial and error process. And every single person is different as well. So there's no blanket rule of do this, that will work. It's like do this, try it, test it. If it works, fantastic. Keep doing it. If it doesn't, change it.
No, amazing.